You're live. Hi, Matthew.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. Good.
I'm Amy. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to do a yin practice this evening. We're going to do it without props, but if you have props at home, please feel free to use them. And we're going to start laying on our backs. So when you feel ready, go ahead and come to lie down. And bring your awareness to the back side of your body. And do a slow scan from the back of your head to your heels. Simply noticing each and every point of contact between your body and the floor beneath you. And as you notice these individual meeting places, allow your body to sink down into them. Allow your body to soften and settle. And once your awareness has made it all the way down to your heels, slowly scan up through your body toward your head. And notice if there's any obvious tension you could let go of. Anything you might soften here. If it feels okay to you, bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. A little pose of self-compassion. And we all need that self-compassion in this time, especially. And compassion for whatever it is that we are experiencing in this place of uncertainty, in this place of experiencing our day-to-day in a new way. And so just take a few moments here to notice whatever it is that your body may be telling you about how you're feeling a physical tension or perhaps some thoughts that have been ruminating in your mind. And in this way, taking a little time to acknowledge what's there, not try to mute it, not try to change the channel. Simply thanking those thoughts, those feelings, and those sensations for being there. They're part of a natural response. And knowing that it's okay to feel however it is that you feel. And thanking, and open your mouth to exhale and let some of that go, even if you're just setting it aside for the next little while. Very slowly relax your arms by your sides and invite a little gentle movement into your body. Anything that might feel good, rolling wrists, rocking ankles, turning your head side to side. In your own way and time, bending your knees and rolling to your left side. Taking a moment or two there before you rise all the way up to a tall seat. And we'll meet sitting nice and tall with hands at heart center. And the eyes closed, your gaze soft. And bow your head toward your heart. And one thing I've really been working with this week, so much has been moving around, is the practice of gratitude. So see if you can bring into your own mind and heart space someone or something in your life that you can be grateful for. And every time you come back to this practice, it might be something different. So pick one thing and make it very clear for yourself here. As if that person or thing was sitting right out in front of you. As if moving that into the heart space, bring one hand against the chest and the other hand on top of that first hand, both of your palms pressing in and your heart lifting up into your hands. And feel that warmth and weight, the reassurance of your own touch. And take a moment to breathe into that space where your hands meet your chest. Relax your arms down to any comfortable position. And with the eyes still closed or gaze soft, we'll inhale to bring the shoulders up toward the ears. And exhale to roll them back and down. And inhale, shoulders rising. Exhale, roll them back and down. And one more time, inhale, shoulders rise. Exhale, roll them back and down. And tune into your natural rhythm of breath. And for tonight's pranayama or breath work, we'll take 4 counts in and 8 counts out. So twice as long on our exhales to really signal to the parasympathetic nervous system. It's our rest and digest nervous system that it's time to turn on. And to our sympathetic nervous system, that's where all the stress lives, to turn off for a little while here. We'll start with one cleansing breath. Big inhale. Open mouth. We'll begin. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more rounds on your own. At the bottom of this exhale, let your breath return to a natural rhythm. Take a few moments to notice and scan the body. If there's any tension that's come back into the shoulders, the hands, the jaw, space between the eyebrows. See what you can let soften. And take a moment to notice where your seat meets the mat. And to softly let the eyes open and take in the light and the colors all around you. And we'll begin today's asana practice with Oyster pose. So Matthew is beautifully positioned to set up for it. And Oyster pose, you want to come to a comfortable seated position, typically cross-legged. But usually there's one way that's a little more comfortable than the other. If you're at home and have a blanket or a pillow you'd like to sit up on, you're welcome to. And we'll start with a nice tall spine. Big inhale. And as you exhale, start to walk your hands forward round your spine and let your head be heavy. And you're working to come into this pose, and all of our poses today to a place of initial resistance or feedback in the body, sometimes called an edge. I like to call it a pause point, where you ask yourself, by way of your body signals, to pause and pay attention to what it is that's there, what sensations are there. And so you might just start to notice here where in this shape, in oyster pose, you feel it. And notice how, with time, as those sensations change. And I know for some of you out there, this might be one of your first, if not your first, yin practice, so welcome. Since we're in our first shape, I'll just share a few main principles with you, so perhaps the practice will make a little more sense. As we come into shapes in yin, we're coming into them not only to that initial point of feedback, we're also doing our best to hold those points of feedback in stillness. Relaxing muscles, making it a passive form of practice. So rather than trying to pull yourself into these shapes or strain against them, you're really trying to let gravity, that external force, act upon the shape of your body and pull you in by itself without your own efforts. You may notice as you relax muscles that this practice becomes fairly uncomfortable, and that's typically because we're then putting stress on the different connective tissues, fascia, tendons, ligaments, joints, and even bones. And so long as that discomfort isn't erring on the side of pain, and you're your own best judge of that line, then it's a good place and good time to practice sitting with discomfort. Breathing into it so as to one day breathe through it and see what just might be on the other side. And if, however, you feel that you're walking that line and arriving pretty close at the destination of pain, then I encourage you to ease your way out of it a little bit, or maybe even all the way down onto your back or your side or your belly, to rest in a more neutral, comfortable shape and allow your body, both the physical structure of your body as well as your nervous system, to reset. You'll be here for 10 more slow, deep breaths with every one of your exhales. Maybe you can allow your head to hang a bit heavier and notice that sweet curvature of your spine, that big C curve from tailbone to crown. On your next inhale, very slowly begin to rise. Gently walk your hands in. Extend your legs out in front of you, and in your own time and way, make your way down to the back. And so we call this neutral shape in between poses puddle pose, very similar to Shavasana. Use this as a time to reset the physical body and reconnect to the subtle body, noticing sensation, noticing the rhythm of your breath, the rhythm of your heart beating. And perhaps once again tuning into how you're feeling, giving those feelings a moment to be held in awareness, compassion. Inhale to your own slow count of 4. And exhale to your own slow count of 8. And bend your knees, plant your feet, roll to your left side, and rise up to your seat. Now, the beautiful thing of all the space we had in here tonight is that we can take certain shapes that we might not otherwise have space for in a crowded Zoom classroom. So I'll invite a couple of options, and I may hop in to demonstrate one of them if Matthew doesn't want to. But we'll do 2 options. So one will be butterfly pose. So Matthew, if you wouldn't mind bringing the soles of your feet together, letting the knees fall wide. Okay, so this is option 1. And then option 2 is dragonfly. So the legs would go wide. Yeah, good. Look at that, beautiful. Okay, and so either one of those starting shapes for your legs works great. You can see what feels best in your body, and when you're ready, we'll all take a big inhale to sit tall. And as you exhale, walk your hands forward around the spine and fold. So once again, we'll have a very similar shape in the spine, but this time inviting a lot more work into the low body and legs. As you settle into this, maybe relaxing the legs, maybe softening, noticing from your hips to your toes where you are perhaps holding tension that you could let go of. If your mind starts to wander in this or in any pose, I'd encourage you to come back to that mental counting of your breath, inhaling to 4 slow counts and exhaling to 8 slow counts. Maybe noticing if there's any part of this shape that you're fighting, whether it's a mental struggle, whether there's some negative self-talk that you could turn into a positive reframe, thanking your body for its health and resilience, and for its efforts, no matter how those efforts manifest on any given day. And perhaps it's some fight in the physical body that you notice, a bit of held tension that isn't serving you here that you could soften. Noticing any fight that's there and sending love and breath to it for 10 more slow breaths in and out. Your last breath or two, maybe the head can hang just a little bit heavier. On your next inhale, slowly begin to rise. Take your time to stack your spine. And you might use your arms to help guide your legs back together. And slowly, in your own time and way, roll down to your back. Huddle pose. Let your body soften there. Noticing what sensations remain from your butterfly or dragonfly. And noticing how those sensations change with time. And take a slow breath in for your own count of 4. And to your own count of 8, a slow breath out. Inhale to bend your knees. Exhale to roll to your left side. And inhale to rise up to your seat. And so now that we've taken 2 forward folds, so bringing our spine forward into flexion, we're going to come into spinal extension with a couple of back bends. If you don't have props at home, these next 2 back bends are ones that you can do without props. We're going to start with low back. So we're going to start with Sphinx pose. If Matthew would be a love and come around onto his belly, and then prop up onto the forearms. Elbows are right underneath shoulders. Forearms are roughly parallel, but whatever feels really natural in your shoulder sockets. And then fingers are really just soft and relaxed. Untuck your toes, they're tucked, Matthew's are not. And then you can either keep your head lifted or let the head hang down. I'd encourage you to try allowing the head to hang down on an exhale. And if it feels like just too much intensity, you can slowly lift the head back up to lengthen the cervical spine. And you can see here as Matthew lets his head hang down, if you do have your head lifted for a moment. A little curvature to his spine, it's called the S curve. So this is a really natural curve for our spine, one that we don't often get because of the way we sit. And a lot of us are sitting a lot right now. So this is very therapeutic, not only for the low back, which is the primary target, but really the whole spine. So see if you can tune in to your whole spinal column and start to channel your breath up and down it, inhaling from the tailbone to the crown of your head, and exhaling from the crown of your head to your tailbone. If your elbows start to slide wider or out from under you in any way, if you feel like there's a lot of effort in your arms, just walk the elbows back in a little bit. It was a humid day here in DC, a little bit warm, so it's natural for that to happen sometimes. And give yourself permission in this and in all poses if you need to make an adjustment, and then reconnect to that stillness. Allow your body to soften in its shape. You might notice here as time goes on, if there's any effort you're holding in the front body. If you're contracting the belly or trying to draw your ribs in. Another tendency is to tense up the legs, the glutes, the hamstrings, and oftentimes the feet and ankles. So do a nice slow scan from seat to heels. Notice if there's any work in that posterior chain of the legs, the back side of your legs, that you can soften so that the legs themselves get heavier, sinking down into the mat. And we'll take 10 more slow, deep breaths here. On your next inhale, very slowly begin to rise. And we'll just gently come into puddle shape. This time you can be on your belly or on your back. So if you're lowering down to the belly, sweep your arms back by your sides. And let your feet flop, relaxing from the hip sockets down to your heels. And see if you can just tune into your breath moving against the floor here. As you inhale, feeling that sense of contact between your body and earth growing. Strong connection. And as you exhale, the breath draws back into your own body, maybe noticing what's happening there. If there's physical sensations that change as we release, and hold in that place of release. And once again, if there's anything emotionally that has come up for you, taking a moment here to thank those thoughts, those feelings, and let them go. Let your next inhale be a slow 4 count in. And your next exhale, a slow 8 count out. Center your forehead on the mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders and press your body up to a tabletop position. And so our next shape will be melting heart pose, also known as puppy dog pose. And for this, we take a big breath in to lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, start to walk your hands forward as you lower your chest and your forehead to the floor. Some of you might turn a cheek to rest on the side of your face. Some of you might even get all the way down to the chest and stretch your chin forward so that the front of your throat is hovering above the mat. That's a very deep upper thoracic back bend, so just listen to your body. If you're at home and have a blanket or a pillow nearby, you might roll up that blanket or fold up that pillow and slide it under your chest if this feels just a little too intense. In terms of alignment, just making sure that your hips are right over your knees, as Matthew is beautifully demonstrating. So the upper body can hang from the lower body. Let gravity do that work to decompress your low back. And let the shape of this pose and gravity pulling on the front ribs and head invite that deep compression in your upper thoracic spine. Something you might tune into here is that difference in sensation between compression and tension. In all of our yin shapes, there are different areas in the body that are being targeted for compression. So two parts of your body coming closer together. And tension, two parts of your body stretching farther apart. And if you bring your awareness to the front of your body, from your hips to your armpits, you might notice that sense of tension. A greater stretch, a greater distance from end to end, and how that sense of openness feels in your body this evening. And you might let your awareness drift to the back side of the torso, from the top of your pelvis to the shoulder blades and the base of the neck. And perhaps feel that sense of compression in between some of the vertebrae. If you've had your head turned in one direction this whole time, you might turn it the other way if you haven't already. Seeing if there's any last bit of give here, any softening and sinking toward the mat. 10 more slow, deep breaths. On your next inhale, slowly begin to rise. Walking the hands back in gently, gingerly, and in your own way and time, finding puddle pose on the belly or back. Take any little movements and wiggles you need to settle into that place of stillness and surrender. And especially as you relax your arms by your sides, maybe noticing the shoulders and the chest, noticing the upper back, and the release of compression and how that feels in the body, maybe tuning into a sensation of more blood flow, more circulation. And the subtle vibration that invites into your sensory field. Let your next inhale be a slow count of 4. And your exhale, a slow count of 8. On your next inhale, center your forehead, bring your hands under your shoulders. And as you exhale, push up to a tabletop position. And we'll just walk the knees forward, sit the hips toward the heels, and sweep the feet around in front of you. And we're going to be lying down on our back, so scoot yourself toward the front of your mat, and then slow, controlled leg down. And we'll set up for twisted root pose. So this practice, if I didn't say at the beginning, which I'm fairly certain I didn't, is all about the spine. So now we're going to take our spine into some contralateral rotation with twisted root. And Matthew will, on an inhale, bend the knees. As he exhales, cross his left knee above that right thigh bone. And then take the arms to any position that feels comfortable. Just create some space, a cactus or a T will do. And the knees drop over to the right as his head turns to the left. And you can make little micro adjustments in this to suit your spine. So if you want more tension, you can always scooch that right hip back toward the middle of the mat and let your left knee drop down toward that right side more. You could also, at home, place a prop on the right side of your mat so that your knees have something to kind of rest against, so the twist isn't quite as intense. And try to let that left side of your face get really heavy, falling away from the right shoulder so that you also get this twist in your cervical spine. As you settle into twisted root, I'd encourage you to tune into the lungs. And notice here if one side of the lungs feels a little harder to breathe into than the other. One side will be a little constricted by the way the body is twisted. See if you can use your own smooth, steady breath and direct it toward that sense of restriction. And notice the power of your own breath, your own attention to invite a sense of calm and a sense of evenness to the lungs. And continuing to take slow breaths. And perhaps even inviting that sense of a longer exhale, especially if the nervous system has come back up. And we want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, helping our nervous system settle back down here. Noticing if there's any tension you're holding in the muscles of your legs. If you're squeezing the muscles around your thigh bones or squeezing the thigh bones together, could you let that soften? And perhaps noticing how the release of effort in the legs invites more rotation to the spine. And 10 more slow, deep breaths. On your next inhale, slowly come back to center. Unwind your legs on an exhale. Tuck your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a squeeze. Take a little rock from side to side here. And when you feel ready, stretch the body out into puddle pose, letting your body reconnect to symmetry in between our sides. And you might notice here if one side of the body feels different than the other. You might notice if there's any part of your body that you're holding tension in that you could let go of. Any obvious tension that you could soften. Let your next inhale be to a slow count of 4. And your next exhale to a slow count of 8. On your inhale, bend the knees. Start to draw them in toward your chest. And we'll cross that right leg over the left leg this time. And take the arms to a cactus or a T. And on exhale, let your legs fall over to the left as your head turns to the right for twisted root. And allow the body to soften and settle into that shape. And allow the right side of your face to get heavy, sinking down. Allow any effort in the muscles around the legs to soften. And bringing your awareness to your lungs. This time as you inhale, I want you to try imagining the lungs expanding. And as they do, giving a hug to your heart, surrounding it. And as you exhale, releasing, emptying out that space and creating room around the heart. And as you inhale, the lungs expand to hug the heart with that sense of support. And as you exhale, emptying out that space. And continue to breathe in with that sense of expansion. And breathe out with that sense of emptying out. And you might start to think of that out breath not as only a way to release, but also as possibility of letting go as a way to make room for what's new, to make room for all that you might experience in this space around your heart. Perhaps to make room and hold space for whatever it is you need right now. The body invites you deeper. Perhaps you can allow yourself to soften a bit more into this twist. And more slow, deep breaths. On your next inhale, really slowly start to come back through center and unwind the legs. As you exhale, gather your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your shins, give yourself a squeeze, rocking gently from side to side. And then one of those gentle movements, rolling all the way over to your left side, and pause for a few breaths there. Allow your body to sink and settle. Notice that solid ground that you have beneath you. And on an inhale, slowly rise up to your seat. And we'll meet sitting nice and tall with hands together at heart center. Eyes closed or gaze soft. And bow your head toward your heart. Take a few moments to tune in to your own internal landscape, the field of sensation in your body, the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body. May we all wish ourselves the following. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. We might all wish everyone, those close to us, and those in our local communities and our community at large, our global community, the following. May all beings everywhere be happy. May all beings everywhere be healthy. May all beings everywhere be safe. And may all beings everywhere live with ease. Join together in a full breath in. Open mouth. And slowly make your way down to your back. Relaxing your arms, stretching your body out. We'll all rest in Shavasana. Let all effort go, even effort around your breath. And as always, I invite you to stay in your Shavasana as long as you'd like, as long as you can. I'll rouse those of you who stay with us here in about 7 minutes, so allow yourself to enjoy this place of peace and stillness. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Invite some easy movement back into your body. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And slowly take 3 of those longer exhale breaths, inhaling for 4 counts and exhaling for 8 counts. Inhale, stretch your arms long over your head. Press the feet forward the opposite direction, and as you exhale, bring your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Give your body a loving squeeze, thanking it for all that it does. Roll to your left side. Take a moment to pause there and notice this place of calm and stillness you have within you at all times. This inner source. And taking your own wisdom and compassion with you, rise all the way to your seat. Join our hands together in front of our heart. Bow forward, sealing the practice. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Matthew. And thank you, everyone out there, for joining us. I hope you have a peaceful night and a peaceful weekend. We'll talk to you soon.